All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the finals of the Jawa Cup format tournament. For those of you unfamiliar with this tournament, there's a great episode of the Star Wars CCG Hollow Theater show that was done about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Jerry and Dan interviewed Bill Kafer. They talked a lot about the history of the tournament, how it sort of came about. Um, it is a restricted format tournament. We'll take a quick peek at the leagues while they're doing that and see if it's available. Nope, we can go to format rules. So the Jawa Cup, basically it's an open tournament. There are a handful of X-listed cards, which means they cannot be played. No throne room, no like my father, no idea, old allies, and Diplo and Legend were all excluded for light side. For dark side, it's map, route to your operations, virtual. You can play the original if you want to. Agents of the Black Sun and Court of the Vile Gangster. So it's 2, 3, 4. So basically, it's the top four objectives on each side, plus throne room and like my father. Just another fun format to try and create a little bit of deck diversity, similar to some of the other formats we've seen. Just trying to mix things up a little bit. And our finalists looks like we've got Branden taking on Jayjaydee. And they should be getting started here momentarily. I don't know if they're planning on playing both games. I assume so, given the drastic time zone difference. Branden is a European player, and JJ Jared is a East Coast American player. So they're working with a good 5 or 6 hour time zone difference. So usually when you meet up on a weekend, you try and squeeze both games in and get them going. We'll be having a special raffle giveaway sometime during this stream today. Just more random stuff that I came across, and we'll see if anybody is interested in getting something faux free. Please, of course, always remember to renew your Twitch subscriptions, especially if you have a Twitch Prime account, because then you get one subscription per month for free, and you get some fun rewards and milestones at the 3, 6, and 12 month subscription points. We are working out a new tier. Oh, looks like they're just playing it's a casual format here. That means that if they're playing it as casual, that people should be able to type in the chat. Please don't do that. Please let these players play this game out on their own. Okay, so we've got Yavin 4 Ops being played by Jared. That's why I would have put him on, no surprise there. And Branden is playing My Kind of Scum and has chosen Greedo as his rep. Well, this should be an interesting game. Should be a fair number of space battles, depending on which particular version of Scum we're seeing here. Should have at least a few ships, space cruiser, and a few, maybe a Zuckuss or Ellis and Hinthra. He may have been more teched out for mains, as we see Nagak War Beast, which is basically if your thing is about to be lost before the damage segment. It does work against starships, so if they are using X-Wing cannons, that does protect the ship to at least finish the battle, which is pretty big. But usually you see this more for ground characters when you're worried about Sorry About the Mess or Leia's blaster rifle. It is also a Dejarik, so it can be pulled with Masterful Move. Like I said, he chose Greedo as his rep. We've also got Power of the Hut, which lets you pull a handful of guys. Also gets the Sail Barge, the Space Cruiser, or Hut Influence. Hut Influence is the one that protects your force drains from being modified where you have 2 aliens. And then over here we've got Squadron Assignments, Strike Planning, and Wackling. He is going to pull the Goldenrod Shield. That will mean that Jabba Space Cruiser Virtual, when it's deployed, lets you deploy an alien leader aboard for free. There's a handful of guys that Darkseid usually gets with that. It's going to make them pay 2 force to do it instead. So So Brandon's going to activate 6. He's going to go get the audience chamber using the Java's Pals game text. This is old school tech right here. During a deploy phase, deploy 1 site from reserve deck. Oh, and he's got the lower passages in hand. So now he's got, they both have a nice big jump in activation with all these battlegrounds on the table already. And he's going to get Nalhutta as well. He'll use his once per game text on the audience chamber. See if he just goes for Jabba Scum. Yep, that's what he's going for. The Yavin 4 Ops deck is more primarily a space-heavy deck, but you will typically see them running a couple of EPPs or stuff to, for some ground presence. Just to try and keep the dark side honest. He's got Jabba, he's got Scum. Now he's going to accelerate for the bridge. I would think that might be the extent of his locations. Could be playing a Twi'lek to get the passenger deck as well, but I wouldn't imagine he would need all of that force. But we'll see. He's using Power of the Hut here. He's got 2 force left. Bib would be what he could deploy for 2. Everything else is going to cost 3. Oh, HUD influence. Okay. So there's the HUD influence. This is the one, like I said, that protects force drains at Tatooine's battlegrounds where you have 2 aliens. If you have 2 non-unique aliens, it also reduces attrition against you by 2. But that rarely comes into play outside of a sealed deck format. And thank you for renewing your subscription, Leia Daddy. And he's going to go to move phase. So the My Kind of Scum objective, we've looked at this a few times on my show. We haven't seen it too much in competitive tournament play, but it is a fan favorite of some of the Euro players. So he picks a rep, which he picked Greedo. So that's his species, is the Rhodians. So he'll have to have like a non-unique Rhodian or something to flip his deck. Can't play inserts, can't play operatives. This only works with Frozen Han. So if you have 2 battleground sites occupied and a third with your non-unique, so he'll need a Rhodian at a site somewhere, and then he gets to flip. While he's flipped, he can use this part of the text to cancel a force drain or a just drawn battle destiny. We'll move this out of the way so we can see what they're doing. But while Jabba and Bib on table, battle destiny draws are each +2. That's the huge benefit of the objective here, plus the ability to being able to cancel a battle destiny or a force drain by stacking an extra copy of your rep there, and then you can deploy your rep off of it, and then he dies, and then you just stack another one, and yeah, etc. Especially with someone like Greedo who deploys as a react, you can get him into a bunch of different battles and things to keep moving him around, and then you just retrieve him with Scum, etc., etc. Wounded Wookiee. Yeah, I think people only play the combo, the Abyss and Wounded Wookiee combo. Usually what you see, which then makes it a 5 instead of a 2. But then the Destiny draw itself would also be +2. You're right there. So it would be a 7. Yep, yep, yep. If drawn for Battle Destiny. Alright, so we're going to get a strike planning pull for Dodonna. He pulled Endor with the objective, with strike planning out. That'll be a 2-0. And then he's dropping General Dodonna there. We'll put this back in the middle now. Who at a war room, he can get a related battleground or a Y-Wing. So he can usually get Gold Leader and Gold 1, but occasionally people will use this to pull a related battleground site He might get the 2/2 um, Yavin site to get himself his own battleground to go to. While present at a war, opponent's spies may not deploy here, and your epic event destiny draws are +1. The big point there being spies may not deploy here, so you don't have to worry about getting your butt whooped. And then he dropped Saw with him just for hoo-has. Opponent may not reduce your force drains here. Once per game, they can still cancel them though. Once per game, if in battle with an Imperial or Rebel, lose top card of reserve deck to cancel a non-immune to sense interrupt. So I'm guessing he just saw was the only Rebel leader he could deploy from his reserve deck, or he just wanted somebody to make sure Dodonna didn't get crushed. Because while you can't deploy spies and stuff here, you can still Ellis and move there. So does have to be a little bit of a concern with that as well. Jay is going to go draw a handful of cards. He's going to pull the battle plan shield to make him have to pay if he wants to drain for 1 here. Branden's going to just recycle and accelerate. He's going to play 1 to go pull a card with Pod Racer, which pulls itself because it has Pod Racer in its text. So he just cycles back a 5 and shuffles his deck. Usually you see people do this a little later in the game when they're just trying to track a 5 around. And Jared's going to grab the Boss Nash Chamber. And now we're going to see Branden activate to 3 and pull an effect with Accelerate. He's going to get Broken Concentration. Interesting. There is an interesting lock which happens sometimes in match play with the Broken Concentration and the Ritik Hiwi Jawa, the Eric White Virtual Memorial Jawa, which would be fitting in a Jawa Cup tournament. Want to become famous? Buy followers. No. I'm already famous. I don't need more fake followers. Stupid bots. Alright, so there's Jabba Space Cruiser. He's going to get the free alien aboard. He gets Chow. Alright, when Chow's deployed, he gets to take a non-unique alien to hand, so he gets the Rhodian. Chow is also a pilot, so this will add some power. He adds 2. Aliens deploy -1 to same or adjacent Tatooine sites, so usually we see Chow on the ground. You put Chow here with Jabba, and then everybody deploys -2 to all 3 of these sites, basically. And then you just drop a handful of aliens, and then sometimes you'll see people even pull Galed to increase the force drain, so you drain 2/2/2 at these locations. But Chow's going to space. He may have not had other options. We don't know what's in his reserve deck in terms of alien leaders. But Prince Shizor, Proxima, F. Atman. I think Hondo is also a leader. So there's the Rhodian. You have to occupy 3 battleground sites, so the system here doesn't count for flipping the objective. So I'll have to get another guy here, and then I'll probably just consolidate. Because to stay flipped, you still have to occupy 2 battleground sites to stay flipped. So he's going to have to go here and then shuffle, because the lower passages here lets your aliens move between here and any Jabba's Palace site, similar to some of the other locations we've seen with Cloud City or the Spaceport site. So if he puts a guy here, and then he can bounce the Rodian over after he flips. Oh, we're up to 15 people. Wow, a lot of people are up early on this Sunday morning. Or maybe it's all the European players who finally get to watch a match live and cheer on their fellow European. Um, having one U.S. North American player and one European player competing in this event brings us back to our Outrider Cup format that just finished up a few weeks ago. Now we got our Jawa Cup finals being contested as well. Perhaps the Euros can take the Jawa Cup back home. All right, so there's Darrow. And that will flip the objective. Darrow also has text that lets him, when deployed, you can deploy from reserve deck a droid here or a restraining bolt. We'll see if he. Nope, no droids. Darrow also has ability 2. Django's going to go aboard the space cruiser as well. Probably move the Rodian inside here. And then we'll see what he's got for defensive cards. You would expect to see a Greedo as a react. The other interesting thing too is the Uta Guta card. You might actually get to use the other function of it to get the Rodian out of the deck if necessary. Yep, the Rodian moves over. So a little thin there on the ground. But I'm sure between barrier, stunning leader, etc., there should be some defensive tricks involved. But like most scum decks, it usually wins the game through battling, not through force draining. Although my kind of scum does have a little bit more damage potential from force draining than Court does, because of the potential to get Galed and get these drains up to 2 inside Jabba's Palace at all 3 of these locations. Then it can actually turn on the damage a little bit. Court, not so much. You get maybe the 1 here, possibly 2 at the pit if you have Velkin, but they usually win the game through battling and grinding out characters. Indeed I am. I am the infamous Chris Gogolin, also known as the Star Wars CCG Hall of Famer Chris Gogolin. Or to the European players, I'm known as that YouTube guy. Since most of them don't get to watch my weekly shows and stuff on Twitch, they catch all the replays on YouTube once they're moved over there. I was gonna say, Bats, you're either up really early or still up really late. All right. All right. So Jared's gonna match for a ship here. He's going for R2 and Red 5 to get Luke. See which Luke he's got. It's the Rebellion's Hope Luke. And he's going in Al Hudda with only 5 cards in hand. And now Greedo would deploy for only 1 as a react. Now he doesn't get the forfeit bump like you see in Court either. So he is just a forfeit 4 guy. He's got these guys in the wrong seats though. Oh no, Django only adds 2 to power either, so it also doesn't really matter. Okay. So Luke Rebellion's Hope, while he's piloting Red 5, he can add a destiny to power or attrition. So it's power 8, immune to less than 5, deployed for only 4, and then he can get a destiny to power or attrition. So Django's got 6 forfeit. So if he thinks he can Crack higher than that, he'll add a destiny to attrition, draw 2 destiny, and then get himself above that threshold and cause some extra force loss. We're making him have to lose 2 guys here. And we're going to get Riken as well. So now this objective flips because he's got 4 rebels on table. Battles at sites related, it's not really going to come into play. So there's some liberation stuff that can go on here when he force drains at systems. But we'll see what he's going to get through here. So he is going to add the destiny to attrition. And then he's going to all wings and he's going to spin for a 6. So he's going to start with a 6. And then he's going to draw destiny on top of that, the attrition destiny on top of that. And we'll see what he gets to add. And now Branden's thinking, is that the card I want to grab? And that is the card that he'll want to grab. It's also a just drawn battle destiny that you can cancel. And I feel like there's a weird thing in the substituted destiny rules that they can't be canceled. So by spinning there, he can't cancel the destiny with Greedo. Alright. Branden draws 3, which will not crack Luke's immunity. So, and then he gets... oh, wow. Wowza. That is a complete blind lucky 7 draw. And Branden is going to lose everything here. There goes Django. There goes Chow. There goes the Space Cruiser. The spin was a good move. You would expect he probably draws, a 4. Maybe he gets a 5 and is able to... But, I mean, there's just as many characters and ships that are 2s and 3s in this deck that he could have drawn instead. That would have only cleared the 2 pilots, but he does get a big destiny draw with that and eliminates the whole package. Now, he does still have his once per game retrieval with Jabba's Haven. He can retrieve a non-maintenance alien or independent starship into hand. So he can get the Space Cruiser back. And when he lost Django, he did go upload Boba Fett, and he took Boba Fett Bounty Hunter. And now Jay's going to draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, he did only need a 5 to clear everything, but with the spin. But of course, drawing a 7 just adds a little insult to injury there. He had about 20 cards in his reserve deck at that point. We didn't get to verify or anything, so we don't know for sure what his destinies looked like, but I would guess that was probably a coin toss as to whether or not he hit the 5 or higher that he needed. Probably a little less, probably less than that, probably like maybe a third. Of course, I'm just speculating. I haven't seen the particular list that Jared's using here, so just based on what I've seen from other Y4 Ops decks. So Branden goes for something with Nal Hutta, a bounty. This is what the system lets you pull. Control phase, search reserve deck, take 1 bounty or Hutt bounty into hand. He's not playing any of them, but he is just using this opportunity to search his reserve deck, see what's in there, figure out what he wants to do with this turn. Does he want to retrieve his ship and deploy somewhere else in space and try this again? Does he have a bunch of good cards in his force pile that he just wants to draw for? Does he not have a lot that he wants to do this turn, and maybe it's worth it to pay to drain? just to start causing a little bit of force loss? Um, those are probably the questions he's asking himself in that particular order. CRG's curious if he's running 3PO and the We're Doomed, it could be worse to abuse those cards once people grab the spin. That is a good combo to abuse, especially, like you said, because R2 and Red 5 is likely to be on the table most of the game. Kind of a little surprising. He's shield busted here. He pulled all 4 shields already. Um, but I would expect it in a deck like this too that Legendary Starfighter wouldn't be a bad call to play. And in this early battle here, he could have been doing 2 damage a turn for pretty much the rest of the game. And there is the broken concentration. So he retrieves the Space Cruiser. There's the broken concentration. So how this card works. The first part here is all about Jedi testing. That's the kind of annoying part. It was sort of a counter, soft counter to, well, a pretty hard counter actually, to slow down people doing Jedi testing when that was so popular in Dagobah. Once per turn, you can use 2 force and you move the top card of opponent's force pile to the top of their reserve deck. So they saved 1, you spend 2 of yours, you put this back on top of their reserve deck, and now they have no force saved. Comes into play a lot when you see things like First Strike, so they don't have force to spend for interrupts, or when you're trying to make sure they don't have force available to play Rebel Barrier or something like that, or an interrupt that costs force to do so. Can also come into play late in games when someone is trying to draw up and you prevent them from drawing their last card. So now they're stuck with a minimum with just a couple of cards, 1 card face down, and then you don't, force drain them and make them lose that last card, and then you can find ways to put more of your own cards back, do any retrieval aspects and things that you've got going to get some additional cards left in your force pile or in your life force to up your differential count. The other thing we see it with is the stupid Jawa I mentioned earlier, who, if your opponent has more than 1 card here, because they understand you're going to do this and they save multiple force, once per turn you can spend 1 of their force. So you spend 1 of their force to help offset the cost of this. So they spend 1, you spend 1, and you move the other card back. So now you've taken away 2 of their force. So this can get a bit annoying. I believe one of the new combo cards, I think it's the Effective Repairs combo, cancels that, if I'm not mistaken. All right, the Space Cruiser's back. Back again. Jabba's back. Tell a friend. I better stop. He's going to sue me. Alright, so he's going to go get another alien. He's getting Thrawn this time. And with the spin grabbed, we know he won't be able to play it this again because it will cost him 2 force to play it this time around. But he's going to need more than this if he wants to crack R2 and Red 5. And of course he has to worry about Destiny 2 attrition again, clearing multiple guys. Space Cruiser itself is immune to less than 5. Why didn't you guys tell me I wasn't in full screen mode? That's a little better. There's the Boba Fett bounty hunter. So he's going to currently add 1 battle destiny now. So now he's drawn 2. And he will retrieve with Scum. Or he'll have the option to retrieve with scum. He will not spend the force. So he's not going to pay. So I guess he doesn't care about getting Chow and Django back. I'm going to guess he's got a Greedo now and he's going to cancel the Battle Destiny. And that's why he saved the Force, so he can pay Fett's upkeep and possibly draw a card. Tough choice here for Jared. I think you got to go for attrition still. Your opponent's drawn 2, so Luke's probably going to go away. So add a Destiny to attrition and see. I think they're both forfeit 6. So see if you can get to 7 with 2 draws and possibly make him lose both. The tricky part, of course, is if he cancels your Battle Destiny, then you don't add anything to attrition. So that may be the dilemma there. And there's a good possibility in this scenario that he does have a Greedo, the way he sort of telegraphed this a little bit. So it might have made more sense just to add to power, but that way you know you get something out of this. Jared's going to go make a couple pulls. He's going to use quite a mercenary. Gets a Reflections to Chewie or Merc Armor, so he's going to get Chewie Protector. And then he's going to use Dodonna and take the Massassi Ruins. Alright, so there's the 2 draws. It's a 2 and a 5, so it's a 7. That's only going to kill Luke. He will not get the ship. Blind draws a 7. Yep, and it's going to get canceled. It's kind of what I expected and kind of what I would have thought was going to happen. So now he's got no Battle Destiny, so therefore this Destiny to attrition of 5 adds to nothing. So Darkseid has no attrition. If he had done it the other way and added to power, he would have drawn the 7 for Power Destiny, which still doesn't get him anywhere because it's still tied and he still has to lose Luke. So if you're wondering which way was the right way to do that, you kind of end up in the same spot either way. But if you expect that your opponent is going to cancel your Destiny, adding to attrition just doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. If you have 0 Destiny, you can add to attrition. If you have no Destiny, you can't add to attrition. There's nothing to add to. So there goes Luke. That's going to flip the objective back because now he doesn't have 4 rebels on table. That should give Branden the opportunity to... He can either move the ship, he can draw a card. He's going to pull the Coward Shield to stop his opponent from doing any type of retrieval if he wants to Walkling to get Luke back or Jedi Lev or anything like that. He's going to draw 1. He's going to pay 2 for upkeep. And then he'll have this Reacting Greedo available as well for additional forfeit fodder. This would be a good opportunity if he had Gold Leader and Gold 1. With only 1 force saved, he would then have to choose between deploying Greedo as a react to soak up more forfeit, in which case you don't get any Battle Destiny draws, so that's no good. Or you can pay for 1 of your 2 draws, but you don't get the second one, which could give Lightside an opportunity to get rid of some more of these people. Oh, we got a General Leia sighting. He's going to need to get the 2 battlegrounds if he wants to get any retrieval, though. And there's a Chewie Protector coming down nice and cheap. Chewie can cancel some of these game techs, but I don't think either of them have anything that's relevant. The Rodian adds 1 to power of other bounty hunters and stuff. And we got a Galen Urso. You can use 2 force to switch numbers. So if you draw less than your opponent, you can switch them. But Yeah, Leia would retrieve when he initiates the battle, but the coward out, he's going to need to have two battlegrounds in order to do it. So we'll see if he's got another ship pilot combo and he wants to go to one of these other systems. Nope, he's going to drop Hera to the ground. So now he's getting two battle destiny here because Hera is with two rebels. With an Imperial or two rebels adds destiny. He's going to match for Poe. Does he have enough force to do that? No. I was going to say, is there anybody? I mean, he might be playing Poe's ship, which I think I have a copy of right here on my desk. Poe's ship costs 3. Unless he's playing the tie. I don't know if the tie is also the BB-8 in Black Squadron 1 is what I was referring to. That costs 3, but... Alright, so Galen is going to use his text here. Once per game, may place a non-immune to alter effect in owner's used pile. He's going to use that to send scum used. And by doing that, he prevents him from deploying Greedo, because now he doesn't get the deploy -1. So Coward's going to stop the retrieval. However, there's going to be no battle destiny draw here for Darkseid, and they are down a huge amount of power. 17-4 plus 2 battle destiny. We're going to assume on average it's going to be about a 3. And we're looking at about somewhere in the 23-4 range. And these guys do not have very high forfeit. So he draws a 2, which Hera can use her once per turn to cancel and redraw. There's 7. Ouch. Brandon's going to need a Gick, or this game's going to take a drastic turn. Holy moly. 31-4. So he's down by 27, and these guys cover 6. I was going to say, I don't think this, that just covers attrition. I don't think, and then this adds to their forfeit unless a non-Tatooine location is on table. So really, anything outside of the sealed deck format. He throws away a 4-lom from hand, which tells me he does not have the Gick. And he's going to be peeling about 20 cards here. And this could be game over. All because of Galen Erso. I mean, it still would have been bad, but... Yep, he's peeling some cards here. He's peeling a lot of cards here. He's going to peel 20-ish cards. So, if he didn't have Galen to put Scum back, he would at least deployed Greedo. That would have given him 3 more power and 4 more forfeit plus a battle destiny. So he would have had 7 more plus the destiny draw. Even if he draws a 2 or a 3, he's losing 10 cards, not 20. And might still actually be able to hang around in this game for a little bit. But he just peels quite a bit of stuff here. Let's see if we can recap everything that he lost. 4-lom, V. There's the Retikui, Woof, Greedo, Rodian. 2 accelerates. Something special, Grabber. Proxima, Scum. Ponda, Force Push, Search and Destroy. Barrier, a 3rd accelerate. The Prince, Probot, Dr. E, Utaguta, Greedo, Greedo. And then the Rodian for the last 2. And Jared's drawing a couple cards here. That I probably don't agree with at this stage of the game. You just knocked your opponent down to about 13 life force left. He can get Scum right back out, but not much left that he can do with it. He lost the Rodian last, which tells me he may have no escape to get him back to reflip his objective, but he's got 3 cards in hand and 13 cards down. He'll get a couple of drains in, and Jared may be thinking about that, about having a couple cards to lose from hand. But I gotta believe he probably would have had, without drawing, he probably could have had some decent stuff to lose. He also top decks quite a mercenary here, so and he top decks a wedge. So he must really be in love with his hand, but he's kind of put his opponent in a huge hole here. And now Branden has to just go into differential management mode and see what he can do to get this number as low as possible. A lot of ground presence, yeah, certainly quite a bit of it. So there's a bib Fortuna. He's got Scumbag out. And a P59. So I guess if he's concerned about his opponent moving that pile of guys over to the audience chamber, rightfully so, because they'll probably will end up there. He's going to also add a P59. And this is a drain -1 site, and Jared will have to pay to drain because he doesn't have a site in a system. This is also the bib that gets a huge power bump. While with Java Power +3, you can cycle some cards back. This part almost never comes into play, but occasionally, if you get them early enough in the game, and you can try and do this to move some cards around to get some better cards to draw. But making him Power +3 in battle, well, his Power +3 means with Java, so he's Power 6. And then Java has the text that once per battle he can double. So you double bib up to 12. So you get a nice big power bump there. Makes the audience chamber a little more difficult to deal with. Of course, Chewie just cancels his text, and then he's not getting a power bonus. So now we'll have to see what Jared's got going here, what he can do to get to space, start speeding this game up a little bit. He's matching for red 10. And maybe that's what he was looking for when he drew. He was trying to find some type of ship pilot combo to work with. Oh, he's going with Kin Kian. Little Taco Bill virtual here. Matching pilot for any snub fighter. While piloting a snub, adds 1 battle destiny if unable to otherwise, or he draws 1 if unable to otherwise. An opponent may not substitute draws here. And there's a green leader. So he's going to add a destiny. And there's the gold leader that we were talking about earlier. So that's going to limit him to only being able to draw 1 because he only has 1 force available to spend. So you've got green leader who's adding a destiny when he's with the snub fighter. And then gold leader here making him pay. And he squeezes out Poe as well. So now he's getting a 3rd battle destiny. So Jared's got his hand on the throat after that big ground battle, and now he's just trying to squeeze the life out of Branden as quickly as possible here. Right now he's looking at about a win by, well, it looks like 24. He can also walkling still to get a card back. And he's going to retrieve one with Leia by putting Poe out as well. And no secret plans or anything to make him pay for it. Minor oversight by Branden, but I'm sure he's just a little frazzled at the unexpected turn this game took. Jared's going to play an organized attack that makes his X-Wings and Y-Wings power +1 and immune to attrition for the rest of the turn. Also puts another used interrupt back in his deck, so he's adding 1 more card. At this point in time, he really should pop Walkling and retrieve this card, because there's a pretty good chance when he draws Battle Destiny here that Branden just top decks everything. He's down 17. Plus, he just drew a mountain for Battle Destiny here. Minor oversight, but I don't know that it's going to make much of a difference in the grand scheme of things. He draws 3 5s. Wow. So this is going to be game over at this point. Oh, he draws a 5 for disarm. So he's down 27. 6, 12. And what's this? This is also a 6, isn't it? 18. Yeah. So minor mistake by Jared, not popping the Walkling first. Gunner's going to lose everything and then peel 9 cards. And Jared's going to pick up a win here by 21, 24, 26. He could have had one more, but oops. So we'll call that plus 26 for Jared, and we'll see if Branden wants to play game 2 or not. I'm guessing by his commentary here he does not want to play game 2. I concede game 2. All right, so we will not be having a game 2. So we will go ahead and use this opportunity then to do our raffle. I do have a t-shirt to raffle off here. It is a Star Wars t-shirt. So let's focus on this guy right now. So our Star Wars t-shirt that we're raffling off, all never used, never worn. It is the Rogue One Imperial shirt. With all of Krennic and all of his guys and some Star Destroyers and whatnot. Uh, it is a size large. I'm sure that makes a difference for some people too. So if you're interested in trying to win this shirt in the raffle, in the chat right now, just type !raffle. We'll hold that open for 60 seconds, and we will give away our prize. No sweat marks. Yeah, no, it's never been worn. Never worn, never used, never laundered. Still has the tags on it. Guys, got about 30 seconds left if you're interested. So giving you a little bit of time here to jump in before we wrap things up and I go find breakfast. Ten seconds. We'll need a random number generator. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and closed. Okay, so let's see. How many people do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Only 6 people interested. No worries. All right, so you all have about a 16.7% chance of winning. Good luck to you all. And our lucky number is 1. CRG, congratulations. You are the winner of the raffle. Whew. It's actually good because I didn't want to have to mail this thing to Europe, which it seems like most of the rest of you are from. All right, so Matt, I have your address and stuff. Just send me a PM on the forums to remind me that you won the raffle, and I'll get that in the mail to you in the next few days. But that'll wrap up our stream here this morning. Thank you all very much for tuning in and watching, for renewing your subscriptions. Congratulations to Jared on winning the Jawa Cup, and to Branden for making it this far. I think that's Gunner, right? Branden's screen name. Um, Interesting guy. Met him at Worlds, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we should be back with our regular content this week with my show tomorrow night, and with If you have any OCS games you've played so far, want to send me some interesting game matchup links, we'd always appreciate having some links to review. And then, of course, the Howl Theater show should also be back this week on its usual time slot on Wednesday. But you guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.